Everybody, it's Josh's Firearm Convention. Coming at you today with a video that I don't like to make, but I feel obligated to do so. Here at the Firearm Convention, it's either myself or Johnny that's making videos. And maybe he'll come out with a video on this. Maybe he won't, but I feel pretty much anyone in the gun industry, in the gun community with an audience, no matter how large or small, should weigh in on this, because it's absolutely ridiculously important. And that is Matt Gaetz, a Republican congressman in Florida, has unearthed something that the ATF was trying to slink through during COVID-19 and during the protests that are going on about George Floyd. And man, it's just infuriating, okay? So he wrote a little article, basically it was yesterday, the 16th of June, that stated that they're trying to ban one particular brace, and this one particular brace would affect, this one ban would affect 700,000 citizens, owners of these braces. Now, the only one I can think of, it says one brace in particular, and the only one I can think of is this little guy right here, the SBA3. Okay? So, man, it's so upsetting. This is just a piece of plastic. And guys, I've said it before, for all you guys out there in the back, listen up, okay? When Big Daddy Trump, and I voted for Donald Trump in his first election, I did. In 2016, I voted for him. I thought, man, this is going to be pretty good. I'll go into it hopeful. But he's Reagan, guys. I mean, he's freaking Reagan, right? Reagan is just this rebel dude. He was such a great guy, pro 2A, best president we've ever had, right? Well, that's what the Hughes Amendment says. Gotcha. Heard you. Whatever. So anyway, we have, Big Daddy Trump that, allowed the ATF to instantly reclassify a piece of plastic, just like this, into a machine gun. They wrote an opinion letter that stated that a piece of plastic, the bump stock, was going to be a machine gun. And guess what? It's now a federal felony to own it. They gave no grace period to register the thing as a machine gun. And that was what was really chappable about that mess. I believe a lot of guys, would have probably been not okay with it, but more resigned, more whatever, about it, if they just said, look, we understand it. We made a mistake. We misdiagnosed this product, and it's technically a machine gun. We're going to have to reclassify that weapon, that weapons piece, or that weapon as it would be. And we're gonna give you a grace period of, say, 12 months to register that as a machine gun at no cost to you, no $200 tax. They've done it before. They've opened up the NFA registry for specific things, and they still do open up the registry occasionally on a unit-by-unit basis. For instance, a firearm that is just extremely historically valuable. They've opened up in the past for that. Now, on to this. Do you think that this constitutes a short barrel rifle? Well, guys, no. By the ATF's own words, this doesn't change the designation of a firearm. So if you have a firearm, which designation, pardon me, English is a hard thing today, right? Its designation means that it's got a barrel shorter than 16 inches, but an overall length of over 26 inches. You can put this on it, and this means that it's a firearm, but it's something that you can shoulder, right? Use your gun. But if your gun is, say, an AR pistol with like a 10 or 9-inch barrel, right? You put this on it, pardon me, put this on it, it's still a pistol. Doesn't change it to a firearm, doesn't change it to a rifle, because this Its intention is to, be here, right? So, anyway, that's where it goes. So, the point of this is they're trying to sneak through and ban this. Now, I don't know if it's the SBA 3, but the SBA 3 is the most popular, shoulder brace, period. And the article did say just one brace. And if I had to take a guess, if I had to put money on it, it would be this guy right here. And I can't say that that's fact, right? But man, Tacitus, way back in ancient Greece, he had a quote, there's a quote from him that says basically, the more corrupt the state or the government, the more numerous or the law. So the more laws a government has on the books, the more corrupt this government is, the more they want to restrict you, the individual, right? And man, this fires me up because we have the left, which is so good at staying the course and, perfect idea, perfect deal. George Floyd, he was no saint, guys. No saint at all, but he's now their martyr. He's now a martyr. And let me start by saying, I'm sure I'm probably getting ready to lose a couple of you guys. Stick with me for just a moment. I agree in the protest of George Floyd. I believe that he was killed by agents of the state. I believe that his punishment of death did not fit whatever crime he may have committed, right? That's a fact. And I support every peaceful protester out there, period. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat. I don't care if you're white, black, brown, purple, pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. It doesn't matter. I don't care. If you want to peacefully protest, and vote for change, by all means, do it. That's your right as an American citizen. And, I hope that George's family gets the justice they deserve. The justice. I don't want them to have a kangaroo court if there's evidence we haven't seen, right? But I'm getting sidetracked. Let's move back to this guy. So the left is really good at sticking together. And they say, well, this guy, he wasn't a saint, but look at what happened. This isn't right. And we need to do something about it. And they are. Whether you agree with them or not, they're doing something about it. I personally don't believe he was killed because he was a black man. I believe he was killed because the state doesn't value our lives. The state, no matter what state you live in, and it doesn't matter, or whether you think of the state as a federal government, it doesn't care about you, the individual citizen. It literally couldn't care less. It's going to use us in the time that it needs us only because there's a piece of paper that's been written on by our founding fathers that says they have to listen to us occasionally. And that's what it's boiled down to at this point. They don't care about us as a whole. The entire federal government is a corrupt sack of garbage. And it doesn't matter if you're on the left. It doesn't matter if you're on the right. Okay? They're both the same coin. One's one side, one's the other. And a lot of Republicans, or Reaganites or whatever you want to call them, man, they don't care about gun control as long as it's somebody on the right that pushes the gun control. It's like you let somebody like Obama push gun control, man, the entire right community goes up in arms and it is a freaking blow up, man. Like the whole community, gun community, they organize together. They say, this isn't right. We fight it, we fight it, we fight it, we fight it. And what happens when Donald Trump gets in office? The ATF reclassifies a piece of plastic into a machine gun, and the right goes, well, bump stocks were stupid anyway. I don't really have a bump stock. I don't care. Bump stocks are dumb. Well, bump stocks may have been stupid. And no, I didn't own one, but I supported your right to put one on every freaking AR-15 you had. I supported your right to put one on every AK-47 you had, right? It doesn't matter. It's the fact that an opinion letter from an anonymous, it is really anonymous. The branch of the ATF that decides on what crap is, the law of the firearm. That anonymous branch of appointed individuals that are not controlled by the citizenry of the United States, us. decided arbitrarily that a bump stock, which they allowed because they declared it not a machine gun after there was a shooting, well, now it's a machine gun. It's like, come on, guys. That's a bunch of crap. Same thing with this SIG brace, or any brace for that matter. Nope, that's not a short barrel rifle. That's not an SBR, because it's not designed to be shouldered. Okay. Now, just because you do shoulder it doesn't mean that that's what it is. That doesn't change what it was designed to be from the company as a stock. You get right? And every manufacturer of modern firearms, every single one of them, has a version of their firearms that uses this little guy right here. Every single company has something like this on one of their firearms. It has become mainstream. We've killed the SBR portion of the NFA with this little guy. And the ATF is bent, right? You know, they're bent. You know, we did away with, you know, the NFA version, you know, we did away with the machine gun version of the NFA with bump stocks. We still have binary triggers, you know. But if I want to, you know, post 86 dealer sample, all I have to do is go get my FFL license and then get my special occupations tax, and I can buy, you know, machine guns. I can trade and deal in machine guns. Now, granted, only to other dealers, right? I can make machine guns. No biggie. I can make as many as I want because I have my special occupations tax. I can still get machine guns. But thanks to Reagan and the Hughes Amendment, right, I can't, you know, as a private citizen, get a machine gun. You know, and that's the thing. You know, people praise Reagan as a pro-2A dude. Reagan signed the 86 Hughes Amendment that banned the manufacture of machine guns as defined in the NFA to where we can't make any more post-86. And then they came for the auto sears and little trip sears, you know. They came for those because they technically were doing the right thing. Even after 86, you know, those then became, you know, machine guns as well. And they continually took and took and took. And now we're down to this little guy that has become so mainstream, guys, that everybody has either seen him, held him, shot him, used him, whatever. It doesn't change the lethality of the firearm. And yet they have to have it now. They have to have this. Why? Because it's about control. It's all about control. You know, and, you know, we as patriots and, you know, must always be ready to defend our country against our government. And that's, you know, a quote from Edward Abbey, right? And guys, it's not time to overthrow the crown. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not advocating for violence. But we as a gun community have to look at this piece. We have to say, is this the hill we're going to stand on? Is this the hill we're going to come together on? You know, and I see people in the firearms industry and in the community, and I can't believe a lot of what they're saying. You'll get people that say, well, the people on the left shouldn't have guns. Or they'll say, well, you know, that guy's firearms piece of crap. You know, I don't care about his firearms. I don't care about his rights. You know, or you'll see something that might be a little Tapco screwed, you know, and it's obviously a lot of incorrect goodies on there. And, you know, and I've seen people make comments of, well, that guy definitely, you know, that firearm's so screwed up, you shouldn't even be able to own guns. That is so freaking wrong. Like, we as a firearms community are either the greatest community or we can be downright the absolute worst. And there is no in between for us. And it's crazy, guys. It's insane. You know, it's so frustrating. It really is that we're sitting on another opinion coming from the ATF, and opinions are not law. An opinion letter from the ATF is telling us, the citizenry, this is our interpretation of this law. This is how we would strike this down in court. This is how we would prosecute anybody we felt in violation of, quote, this law. It is not law, though. It's their interpretation of law that needs to be then ran through the fire of a court hearing. And this happened to the ATF not too long ago in Ohio. The ATF prosecuted a man because he filled either like a hole in one of these SBA 3s. I don't know if it was like this hole or this hole. He did something with a brace that, quote, modified it. You know, in the eyes of the ATF said, well, you modified it, it's now a stock. Well, guess what? They took him to court because they thought this was an open and shut case, and the court shut him down and said, no, this, if it was manufactured as a, brace, is a brace, no matter how it's used by the end user. It was manufactured as a brace, it's always going to be a brace, it's a brace. And that's why we're allowed to shoulder them at this point. And of course, they've been back and forth on that. Shoulder it, you can't shoulder it, you can't shoulder it, you can't shoulder it, blah, 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 blah. It's infuriating. They can't even make up their mind on how they want to do something. You know what I mean? And it's insane how that works. It's insane. And I want to know what goes through their minds when they say, oh, well, we need to start infringing. We haven't infringed enough. And it really is an us versus them. It's a citizenry versus the state. I mean, everybody, I could go on and on for days about this. I could literally go on and on about this mess. And I'm just going to waste your time if I do. A lot of people are going to agree with what I have to say. Some people may not. Let me just end by saying I don't care if you're a member of the John Brown Rifle Club, the ultra left guys that own firearms. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you consider yourself a libertarian, a Green Party member. I don't care if you're white, black, brown, purple, green, blue, indigo, violet. It doesn't matter to me. I can rally with you around firearms. That's one thing we have in common. And as long as we chill on firearms, I'm cool with that, right? I don't care what your thoughts are, but you can agree and I can agree that this should not be regulated by the ATF after it's been in circulation for, 5 years now? So everybody, I hope this video finds you well. I hope that this video urges you and motivates you to contact your representatives in Congress. Contact the ATF directly. Contact your state government officials and have them get on the ball. Contact your president, Mr. Donald Trump, and say, what is going on? Do I believe all this is going to help? Maybe if enough people do it. But if we don't band together, guys, like the left is so willing to do, we're going to lose another little chunk of our freedom. We're going to lose it. I'm hoping that maybe one company, just one company, I don't care if it's Ruger, I don't care who it is, pick a company, any company that does this. I don't care if it's the manufacturer of these SIG braces. They need to stand up and we need to be able to rally around that. And voice our opinions with them. I believe, once again, if they were challenged in a lawsuit, the ATF would back down. I believe this wholeheartedly. If the ATF gets this challenged in a lawsuit, I believe they won't take it to court. Because if they lose in court on a lawsuit about an opinion letter, that renders all their opinion letters null and void. Right? So anyway, everybody, I hope this video finds you well. I hope you've been motivated to email, call, text your representatives, do whatever you can. Do whatever you can to help stop this madness. And I'll say it, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The gun community is the best community, and I will see you next time.